Then, from the start, when you decided that having children wasn't for you, do you remember the moment that it struck you?
Yeah, I think I've never really particularly felt it, but I think a lot of people feel like that, don't they, in their kind of their teens and their early 20s. I think I always sort of expected, you hear a lot about the biological clock, and I expected that at some point it would kick in. And I was in quite a big serious relationship in sort of my early 20s, early to mid-20s, and when that kind of broke up, I was meeting a lot of new people and dating a lot of people, and you get talking to people about kind of what they want from the future and stuff, and I kind of kept saying, oh, I don't really want kids, I don't really want kids, and I think when you keep explaining it to people, you kind of think about it a lot more, and I sort of solidified my decision, and I realised that actually it wasn't something I wanted at all.
What was it about children that so irks you that means you don't want to have them?
It's not that I dislike them. It's honestly not that I dislike them. A lot of people think I'm some kind of evil, cold-hearted human being. I actually really like kids. My sister's got 2 babies, and they are amazing. But it's not so much that I don't like the kids themselves. It's just that lifestyle, I think, isn't really for me. I think it's a lot of really, really hard work. I mean, it helps that I had young siblings when I was growing up, so I've seen sort of behind the scenes of what it's like to raise children and the kind of the amount of work that it involves. And I think that's all completely fair enough. And I think it's completely worth it, you know, if you're the sort of person who really wants kids. But if you're not that bothered, it doesn't kind of make sense to do all that work.
And you have taken the sort of the drastic action, one might describe it as becoming sterilised. Just talk us through the process of doing that, because I'm quite surprised that you can go to your GP as a, you know, as a woman when you started doing this, I think about 26, and you can say to your GP, I want to be sterilised, and they can say no.
Oh, yes. They've said no many times.
Why? What reason did they give for saying no? Was it just a judgment of you that they were saying no? That you can't, you're not old enough or wise enough to be able to make that kind of decision for yourself?
Yeah, it's exactly that. That you know, you can't possibly know your own mind at this age, and you know, we hear it all the time, and women always change their minds, and I can understand that women do change their minds. I mean, my mum probably hasn't helped my cause in this case, because she actually was sterilised and then she got it reversed and had some
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Statistically hasn't helped me a lot, but it's, you know, they kind of say all these things to you that it's very condescending, you know, to keep telling you that they know your mind better than you, and that they think that they know what you're going to eventually decide to do. And I think it was a lot to do with the age thing and the fact that I was still in my 20s. The fact that I'm 30 now hasn't helped a lot. I think they want you to be sort of late 30s, and they want you to have had a couple of kids. But obviously that's never going to be the case for me. And I kept saying to them, you know, the NHS is stretched for money, and if you keep me on the pill, that's going to cost you more over time than if you do the sterilisation. If they'd done it at 26 when I first asked for it, they'd have saved a lot of money. And the longer they drag it on, the more it's going to cost them, which just seems silly to me.